No, that's how it goes. I'd like to think that it gets progressively easier.
Right.
You know, I would like to think that it could get easier. So
yeah,
and I think it can. It just takes, time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I need a backdrop.
Greedy wood.
Yeah, but this is more about you. So you can come on in closer, move the mic wherever you'd like to.
Is it easier for me to just come up to the mic right here, or you want me to?
You could do that. I mean, you could do that, or you can have it pretty at an air. I wasn't sure how tall.
Where do you like to film? Because then I can, just get in the shot.
I do, but like my camera is on me, and then that one is. So yeah, that's probably right there. You don't have to
be right.
It.
Right here. Well, actually, when you record, it's better to be further back.
Yeah, no, exactly. I make that mistake sometimes. Actually, a lot.
Because it's different when you're singing. Like a live performance, you want to be like right on the mic. But when you're recording,
right,
you want like this much space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's picking up like lower and higher, like all the different frequencies and ranges of your voice.
A lot of people don't project, I think.
No, people mumble.
Yeah, and that's kind of a hard part. You know what I mean? That's the challenge. Therein lies the challenge, right? Yeah. So, but and also when I'm like setting up all this shit and doing like it's a live show,
Right, right.
But it wouldn't be called the Guerrilla Film Fam if it weren't that. You know what I mean? So there's like a method to the madness kind of thing,
Yeah.
So, but no, this is it. This is how I've been doing it. So, how you been, man?
Good.
Yeah.
Just one thing after the next. There's always something, like between my job and then filming. Like I've done a bunch of projects, which is great.
Nice.
And I don't like to do things half-ass.
Right.
So it takes a lot of my attention, a lot of my focus, a lot of energy. And that's it's been predominantly taking up my time. Those two things, like. I am a married man, so I try to space and time for
juggle everything
for the wife. Yeah. It's tricky. I was bartending for I don't know the last 5 years out here, and it beats up your body. You get real tired.
Yeah. How long have you been out in LA?
I've been out here since 2019, so just hitting 6 years.
Just about
in the next month.
So you've been working in bars the entire time you've been out here.
Yeah, just like. Restaurants, bars, and so I'm at that point now where I've been managing for a year, and I'm just thinking about like, do I want to keep doing this? It's just so time extensive. Like I love R&Ding and coming up with new drinks because it just like tickles that creative bone in my body. But man, it takes so much energy, mental energy, emotional energy.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like a high volume space, and which we are.
Trust me, no, I've been there, man. I mean, when I was working in restaurants, the first place I worked out here, it was like closer to like fast food kind of thing because it was all counter service, and I'm used to like going up to the tables and everything,
Yeah.
And now it's like, it's so weird because like back then, even when I was like a little bit younger, it was still hard. Now it's like, I can't even imagine. Like, it's like a constant workout. You know what I mean? You're always just busting your ass and doing stuff. And, it's one thing when it's like, you're making a couple hundred a night. You know what I mean? But it's another thing when it's just like you don't have any time in between also. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like... And there's never enough time in the day. So, I mean, we can go on. You know what I mean?
I know.
So, yeah, it's such a drag. But we're not talking about the drag.
No,
I mean, really, the whole purpose of this is, like, the journey. You know what I mean? And how the journey can be a drag, but it doesn't have to be. You know what I mean? Right. It's just, we're working, we're trying to make the most of it, and go from there. So, and that's really just, what it's all about.
So. I remember when we were on set, and you were just kind of pitching to me what you're doing here, and
I think I just started.
Yeah, I think it was fresh.
Yeah,
like,
I'm still just starting. We're at episode X. Double digits.
Hey, there we
go. Approaching like the 30 mark right now. So, But yeah, I mean, no, it's truly just been me. You know, whenever I have time. Now it's kind of like shifting gears a little bit. We're talking about like movies. You know, still talking about like people's journey, connecting. I mean, if you've listened to like this is the closest ripoff to Mark Maron, I think. It's just nobody's famous. You know what I mean? and that's kind of how we're doing it. Yeah. Dot. And
right. Yeah.
But that's the whole. I mean, sales pitch of it is, you know, mental health journey within the indie filmmaking community. And you know, I've talked to people who we all go through the same trials and tribulations. The ebbs right now are deeper than the flows. But you know, we're making it happen.
Yeah, I guess it's all how you make it, like what you make of it as well.
Yeah. I like to call this like the celebration of the artist. Really, you know, it's just all about us and, you know, what we do, and you know, it can be happy, it can be a drag, it can be sad. We got a lot of good, bad stories. More interesting than bad, I think.
And it's all, right? Mm-hmm. It's both ends. Like, all of it belongs. It's and I really appreciate when you see, like, people that have been in the industry 15, 20, 25 years, and they've made a name for themselves, and they're you know, working actors or working producers or whatnot, and they talk about the journey, and they talk about, like, there's plenty of times they wanted to give up. There's plenty of times where they're like, yeah, I'm done. Or maybe they took a break for a year or two. But I think there's this like consistency of you have to keep going.
Yeah, I think it's like a fight.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a tenacity, there's a perseverance that needs to be unlocked, and you need to like grow in it and learn it. It's like that is a skill in and of itself. Mm-hmm. And
it's a good theme too for what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
for reals.
You know what I mean? But yeah, no, absolutely. No, I know what you mean though. Yeah. Because I mean, you know, I was thinking too, like, if there's ever a good time to quit, it would be right now. You know, like literally, like when post-strike,
right,
during this podcast, I give up. You know what I mean? Like, that's it, game over, I'm done. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously though, like, yeah, if there was ever a good time to do it, because you know, it's just like it feels like the end of the world. And I know I'm not the only one saying it. I know it's a very common theme around the world today. You know, but yeah, you know, it's just. You know, where'd you come from, dude? I mean, let's start there. You know, because really, like, I mean, the best, you know, there is no starting point, and I think that's the best way to kind of break the ice a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, are you from, you said you're from the Midwest, right?
The wife is. I'm from New York.
Oh, okay. Born and raised.
So, yeah, I was born in Manhattan, grew up on Long Island.
Oh, wow.
Both of my parents from out there, so they wanted to give me and my brothers a similar life. So we had a backyard.
That's cool.
You know,
yeah.
Trampoline and all that. Phew. So it was fun.
Yeah. Where's your accent?
I know.
Yeah.
You know, when I say Long Island, maybe it comes out a little bit. But if you met my family,
no, well, because my mom is actually from Massapequa.
Is she Massapequa?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
She went to Massapequa High, and my entire family's pretty much from the city. My grandparents met in Brooklyn when they were kids, so, but it was a different, you know, New York than it is.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like they left New York in the 70s, so, you know. And then it got cool again. So, but yeah, no, that's a trip, man. Yeah. What was that like growing up in Long Island?
It was good. I felt like I had a lot at my fingertips.
Yeah.
I mean, until you get out, you don't realize like how insular it still is. Because it's a freaking island. You know, so everybody's kind of similar.
Did they have like a theater scene up there, an art scene or anything?
There definitely is.
Yeah.
For sure. And I grew up always very theatrical. Like as long as I can remember putting on shows with my brothers and my cousins. And it was typically me orchestrating it, right? But yeah, we're a very artistic family. Like my mom's side, every get-together, and she's one of 7, so she's the youngest of 7, 5 brothers. They be singing all these old-timey hits. So I just grew up and it was a very musical family and very theatrical. Everybody's dramatic as hell. But I was always encouraged like to go after the arts. So I played violin. I did theater. But I always just saw it as like a hobby
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
even my parents were like, you should do this. Like, you should go to school for this.
You saw it as a hobby, and they were like trying to get you to pursue it more.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And how old were you when, like, were you like preteens at this point, or like were you in your teenage years?
Yeah, I was a teenager. So I was like 16, 17, and they were like, why don't you go to school for this?
Oh, that's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
Most parents
fascinating.
don't encourage that.
Well, my mom did too, but not like that. You know what I mean? It was more like, oh, like, you know, you made, like, this is cool, you know?
Right.
Like, you should do this, you know? But that's really trippy, though.
I know.
You know, yeah.
I do think, like, as a millennial too, we did get encouraged to go after the stuff that our
For
parents
sure.
didn't.
Yeah.
And now we're like, was that a good idea? Maybe I should have chased security.
Well, at least it made you, you know, empathetic and open with certain ideas and you know, like, closer to your emotions. I mean, you know, as an actor, we kind of have to be there, right?
Yeah.
You know, but, like, to be given permission to pursue an art form, that's a gift.
It is.
You know,
it's a big one.
So, yeah.
Because, you know, tale as old as time.
Right.
You know, parents are like not thrilled with it. No, you're going to do this. You're going to follow my footsteps.
Or they're confused. Yeah, like
Yeah.
people get confused very quickly. You know, and I've met a lot of people like that who are just like, oh, well, I would love to, but I don't know how.
Right.
And that just seems to be like a typical norm, you know, and that's
Yeah.
kind of why I wanted to start this podcast, was just so that, you know, people everywhere can hear, oh, well, you know, this is how Terence gets started. This is how so-and-so, you know what I mean? Because you got to start somewhere, quote unquote, right? But like most people are just kind of like drifting, you know, trying to figure out what they want to latch onto.
Sure.
Trying to find their purpose and well-being. And
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that like, oh, I'm giving you, you know, like a key to, you know, I'm just being like, yo, this is, you know, you got to put in the time, got to put in the research.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of that just comes with drive and, you know, but, you know, why do we do what we do, right? You know, so, yeah.
And I think that's a great lead in. It's know thyself. Like, I think the first part of the story is like, who are you? And we are the main character in our story. We have to be. Like, like no one else is driving this thing.
Right.
Unless you got a robot or alien in your head. But like this is our story, and you know, I also come from a large faith background, so I really believe that we do have destinies, and we do have like a connection with the universe and with the creator, and that's exciting. I think that gives you a lot more glimpse into I do have a purpose. There's a reason I'm here. You know, and what is that to release into the world in the time that I have? Could be 12 years, could be 7 years, could be 9 years. I don't know. But like,
yeah.
in your time on this planet, like, who are you and what does your fullness look like? The expression of your full self. And I think that's cooler than there's this one thing I got to do in my time here.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's
and that's
almost
a little
like
scarier. I think.
Yeah. It's almost like the journey outweighs the destination.
Yeah,
You know
it
what
really
I mean?
is all about the journey, man. As
Yeah.
much as we hate to say it.
Yeah, it becomes that cliche that you just hear a million times, but really when you boil it down, I think it's just one of those essence kind of like, you know, spiritually, where it's just like you're entering the unknown. You know, there's this vastness that we're not privy to, we don't know about, you know, and we don't ever question, you know, whether it's like, I don't know, because I was growing up pretty much for the like spiritual, but like most part leaning on atheism. Like we never really went to church. We never really cared. My mom yelled at my grandmother for giving me communion. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so like my mom was like, that's it, we're done. But you know, just so you know, there's like energy in everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was like, what do you mean? You know, and that kind of opens you up to a whole nother kind of world with this like toolbox that you're given.
100%.
You know? So it's like now that I come to this crossroads in my life, I know exactly what to be like me. Like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I need to focus. I need to put my energy somewhere into something that's tangible, but be in the present moment. And I think that kind of, you know, goes a lot farther with. But you know, most people are they're not thinking like that. You know what I mean?
Most people are just trying to make ends meet and like get by.
I know.
Day to day. You know, and trying. They might not have the tools for self-discovery because you do need to excavate. You need to get into like what developed you, like whose words do you have spinning around in your head? Is it societal? Is it your parents? You know, your upbringing?
Yeah, like what was your upbringing kind of like open like that, or was it very strict and kind of nuanced?
It was pretty strict.
Really? And yet they were like, go to the arts.
Yeah, right? Isn't it kind of ironic?
See, there's the thing. There.
Yeah. Yeah. I grew up in a very, very solid Christian home, and there was a lot of just like fear and a religious expression of it. But I think also that was because where both of my parents came out of, and like they were steeped in a lot of drug culture. They had seen a lot of friends die.
Oh, interesting.
And so I think there was a clinging to that.
Uh-huh.
I'm really thankful for a lot of the fundamental things and values that were instilled into me. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I express a lot of that, and I still cling on to my faith. But I had to go through a period where I grieved, and I had to deconstruct and be like, okay, is this idea, expression of this faith mine? Mm-hmm. And kind of break free from it, and then come back and like almost like everything's on a table, like a crime scene, and there's all these, you know, evidence A, evidence B, and it's like, okay, maybe I'll take that.
Wow.
And take this, but I'm gonna leave that. And it was a really healthy but like painful period, because these were the things that made up my DNA as a human being, because I was raised in that since I was like 4 years old.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it was like my entire world and culture. It was this big bubble. Mm-hmm. Because most of my like extended family too were all part of it, and like my friends, and so becoming an adult and leaving that, I had to find out like, who am I? And that there's no shame or shade in that, and then have those like hard conversations, even with my family. But I think it's like pushed all of us to grow in a good, healthy way. Mm-hmm. So I'm grateful I took that pause and removed myself and did the hard work.
And was that college?
No, that was like much later in life.
Wow.
In my like early 30s.
Oh, wow.
So like maybe like 5-6 years ago, maybe a little further back. I was living in the UK, and I started to do that. I think just living outside of my host culture.
Right.
Like
there's a world larger than you, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, just realizing that and dawning on it, be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because I had all these people over there being like,
yeah,
hey, well, why'd you do that? And it's like, I don't know. But this is what I've always done, or this is what I thought, or I thought it was only this one way.
Yeah.
And
you'd be surprised, though, like, because the first time I left the United States, it was kind of like when I went to Greece for the first time, and I didn't tell anybody I went. I just went, you know. But, like, my parents didn't really get along. You know, my mom and dad were never really married. And so my grandmother was turning like 90 on my dad's side.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And my dad was like already out of the picture. So they were like, you know, hey, just, you know, we'll take care of everything. We'll take care of your passport. We'll take care of your ticket. Just get the hell out here. Come hang out, you know, see what we're all about.
Yeah.
And so I did.
I love that.
And I just went, and I told my mom, I was like, hey, I'm going to the mountains for 2 weeks. Don't call me. Don't text. I know this sounds crazy.
No.
But don't hit me
like a rite
up.
of passage.
If you fucking hit me up,
right.
I will fucking yell at, like that kind of shit. You know
what
I mean?
Yeah.
And the only person who called me was my boss, who was like, hey, we're down a man, can you come in on a Saturday? And I was like, dude, I like was out of the country.
Right.
And he goes, oh, sweet, where'd you go? You know what I mean? So, like, nobody had any idea that I was gone. I just went. I just went. And so,
I love that.
Yeah, but, like, you know, then you realize that, oh, my God, like, this world is, like, fascinating. And it's the same. And it's all literally built the same way. It's like you never left, you know. There's, you know, even when you're with, like, family, you know, people still treat you like your family, you know what I mean? Even though you don't really know who they are, you know. So like,
right.
So you know, I'm very familiar with that kind of thing, and then I had culture shock when I came back.
Oh, 100%.
You know, yeah.
Reverse
when I came back, it was like, oh fuck, this is. And then I got a parking ticket. And I was like, but I could do this in Greece. The guy goes, go back to Greece. And I was like,
oh my God.
It was wild. Yeah, it was wild. So, but you know, well, you know, like that's how we are, you know, that's how it is.
Yeah.
So, but like, yeah, people of the earth, you know, it's few and far between these days, right? So, but that's cool, man. So when were you always like kind of like in between of doing all of this stuff that you're talking about? Were you always kind of like acting, or is that like a focus that came by a little bit later in life?
Yeah, so I was taking some classes when I was in college back when I was like 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
And I moved over to be a music major. So I was doing that. And I had a theater teacher. I was just taking it for fun. Again, like I said, hobby.
Sure.
And he's like, why aren't you doing this? He's like, you need to be doing this. I was like, okay. He's like, no, I don't think you understand. I don't tell this to anybody.
Oh, wow.
But and because of that, I didn't fully appreciate it.
And this is in New York still, right?
This was in New York.
Where did you go to school?
At first, I was at Suffolk County Community College. So it was just like a community college.
Right,
and I was
right.
Like,
Transfer somewhere.
Exactly. I was just getting my associates. And as I was figuring out my mind, because I didn't know what I wanted.
Right.
You know,
right.
I
get it.
I had my parents telling me, hey, you should go either into acting or you should be a pastor. It was like...
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And then I told them, I think I'm going to do music. They're like, okay, that's cool.
Something in the arts or religion, not business.
No, yeah.
Not be a lawyer, not be a dentist.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like they understood that, like, I'm great with people. I love people. I love, like, tending. And,
awesome.
And
yeah.
I'd always, like, from an early age, like, even just, like, therapized or counseled individuals, like, friends and stuff. So they were like, you should do something like that, Terence. So there was that leaning towards pastoral ministry.
Oh my God.
But so yeah, I was at school and I had this professor saying like, this is what you need to be doing. But I remember being just like terrified of it. And it partially, I didn't know who I was. And so there was this fear of like, I would lose myself or the industry would eat me alive. Mm-hmm. I wasn't ready. And that's okay. Like I had to come to terms with that later in life. Because in my 30s, where I developed way more of a deeper sense of self and understanding, I was able to say, no, this is part of me, and I'm going to go for it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take a shot at myself, and it's not just this selfish endeavor. Because again, that was something that I was brought up in, was like, you know, if any self-aggrandizing, or if you're trying to be an entrepreneur for self, like it's very like self-focused, and it's not a good thing. Mm-hmm. So I had to break free of that.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I think that, again, coming up in that religious
worldview.
Eliminate the
ego entirely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it should always be about everybody else and serving everybody else. But what I found in that is that often you neglect yourself. So you don't even learn to love yourself. This wasn't a Meisner class.
No, like Jesus Christ.
I know.
This is literally what they tell you.
Yeah.
This is literally what all the acting classes are telling. You know?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Make it about the other person.
Make it about the other person, about feeding, but eliminating the entire ego, the search of truth, all of this stuff, It's like it's fascinating that you're getting a heavy dose. And how old are you at the time? Like 25? You're in your early to mid 20s, right?
I was early 20s, but then like when I was getting back to when I was deconstructing, probably started that around like 30.
Jesus Christ, that's a gift, man. It's fascinating
because I think about like for so many people, they go their whole lives and they
they never get that.
They never break free of some of the traditionalism or whatever they're steeped in.
Yeah, of course.
So I had to grieve. Obviously, it was like, oh man, It felt like I lost a decade.
Right.
Of this thing I could have been pursuing.
Right? Oh, no, yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I've been there, and it's just like, because you're focusing on your survival. Yeah. And your survival tactics. And
what do you think you're supposed to be doing?
That was, but you know what, though? That's the digestion of life. Yeah. And that's my argument for a lot of things as to why I'm so tired of seeing people in their early 20s on fucking big screens. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, because they haven't really lived a life. No. There's no position of like, I know what I can do and who I am. I'm comfortable with my own internal self that I can do this. Yeah. But I don't think that, that's not what they're feeding out. That's not what they're putting out. It's a weird, trippy world, man. I know. You ever seen that quote where it's like, it's a long-winded one, but it's like basically nothing is more common than an unsuccessful person with talent.
I haven't heard that, but that's it's very true.
Yeah, I'll have to send it to you. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's just like, but it's like reaffirming, being like, don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? Like
I see.
That's the life of the artist. You know what I mean? Like, nothing is more truthful than that. And so, but we're living in it, right? Yeah. But the goal is to live the journey, right? And just be walk the earth and kind of like do that. So
Yeah.
because like we're not saying like if you didn't have acting, what else would there be? It's just a nice little like add-on to what you're doing, right? But then that's how people see it as like a fucking hobby, which I personally don't think that it is, although it can be.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how people do it, how people make it work for them, how people actually like they go to the classes, they go to the workshops, they pay the tuition prices, all of that shit, because like I just want to be working on sets. Like that's, I mean, you can see here like all this shit, you know what I mean? And so this is all production, so
Yeah.
that's just where I live, But some guys are like, oh, I want to actually, it's all for me. I want to be rich, I'm like, that's not how it works, though.
I think there's that glitz and glam that can be self-deceiving.
Yeah, big time, yeah.
And it's not good for us, that kind of clout and fame.
But why do you do it, though?
I think it gets back to the fullness. For such a long time, I denied these expressions of myself. That it's really important to me, that I would say it's a very strong and high value of mine to be expressing myself in all that I am.
Right.
And it's not just an actor. Like, I'm a writer, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter, I'm a lover. I love hiking, I love exploring. And
right.
seeing animal life. Like, I've always been fascinated with creatures and animals and stuff. So, like, there's so many... All of us, we're diverse... dynamic human beings, and that's exciting. We're not just one thing.
Yeah.
As much as it's easy to quantify people in that way, right? You could just generalize.
Of course.
But I think all of us are just interesting, and we have so many sides to ourselves, especially if we allow ourselves room to open and breathe and not feel shame for anything.
More or less just grow.
Yeah, there's an expansive mindset. There's literally something called a growth mindset.
Interesting.
And I think that terrifies some people. That's okay, right? I think it's who's it, Plato with the cave analogy, right? And so it's just like it's easier to digest a world that all you can see is right here. But what if you don't have all the answers? What if there's way more to it? Because that can be terrifying.
You're freaking me out, man.
Right. It's like living in the gray is...
Yeah, no doubt.
Is scary.
No, yeah, but I mean, it's necessary too, right? You have to.
I think to reach your fullest potential, whatever that means, but...
Yeah.
I think to go beyond...
Yeah, I don't think there really is kind of like an answer there, though.
I don't think so either.
It's really just, you have to be familiar with and like content with living around that darkness, Yeah. And I think that if you're not, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Even with like random shit, because I mean, really, like, I think, and we're seeing it in our media too. It's like this idea of control, for better or worse, right? Or how much control the person has over the product that they're putting out.
Yeah.
I think that the beauty of film is that, and working on movies is that it's not perfect. Because you're choosing different takes and you're choosing different things, but it's this optical illusion, that your brain is putting together that's saying, oh, this is the same frame, this is the same life, this is the same, guy, this is the same moment in time. And it's just like, that's the beauty of it, where it's like a trick, but in a way people take it very literal.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy shit. That's where you start getting into this like pseudo uncanny valley territory. You know what I mean? Even though that's a part, but like we've seen all the classic movies, right? And now they're getting too perfect, because they're looking too pristine, or they're shot, I mean, digitally, like, obviously, whatever, right? Yeah. But like, it's just like, I don't know. I just like the imperfections of, little things like that, because at the end of the day, and when we're watching your movie that you're in, The Champ, which, we'll talk about that in a minute, but like, that's kind of how I felt. I was like, oh wow, this is where we're at now. This is the realm of independent media, is that, we are currently living in this whole like uncanny valley of where the fuck does anything go. But like we don't have, the people who don't have like the studio backing are bankrupting the studios because they're putting things out that they want to see.
Yeah.
And I think that's really valiant,
I think that's a response to the studios not actually serving the people.
Right.
I think they've lost the plot.
Big time.
Right.
Big time.
Anytime you make, let's say XYZ is the your stakeholders, and all you care about is let's make profits and let's take the less riskiest route. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's kind of where they've been going. So they pander to certain audiences, but we could pick up on it like that because we're way smarter than they give us credit for.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, we're hungry for good content and all that. And so they've been playing off of all these franchises and milking them and killing some. I think like Star Wars has been taking some major hits, unfortunately.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's such what it was conceptually in the beginning. It's a beautiful, little.
I mean, do you think like Stephen King or like Dean Koontz, wherever, like like literally like making sure because they knew the audience were smart, but do you think they ever thought the audience was stupid? Like this, you know what I mean? Like we were talking, like the studios did. They were like, "Oh, you just don't get it. You just don't get my vision where I'm going with it." So here's another one.
I don't think so because
like that's the beauty of it, right?
Yeah, I think genuinely people that are true creatives, are hopefuls, right? We hope that something can come from what we're birthing,
of course,
and we hope that people will appreciate it. Mm-hmm. We hope that it'll resonate with somebody. Like this story will connect with somebody.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll impact them. Or at least they'll be entertained and enjoy it.
Yeah, like in time, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about people who like Mulholland Drive all of a sudden. You know what I mean? I've loved that movie for years.
Right.
And now all of a sudden I'm seeing all these David Lynch fans everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no problems against it. Like, I love the guy, please.
Yeah.
He's a fucking genius. But it's one of those things where I'm like, did he just do it because he died?
Maybe.
But no, it's a fascinating kind of idea because it just takes time for these things to grow on some people,
Oh yeah.
But it's crazy though because I remember when YouTube first came out, and now it's like this hot commodity. Back then it was just to watch like Comedy Central videos or like random things. Now there's like, oh, we're an entity. We have channels. We have streams. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is brutal. You know what I mean?
Like in the early days, I think it's more so the excitement of again releasing something into the world.
1,000%.
And then people start to, the opportunists, see, oh, we can make money out of this. And I'm not saying that's wrong because at the end of the day, all of us have to feed our families and take care of ourselves and hopefully create, dynastic wealth or some sort of wealth, like legacy wealth that we can pass on to generations.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that there's anything inherently evil with that. I think if it becomes exploitive, but there's something to, like you're saying, the imperfections, like the early stages of something. And I think this is where it rubs our nostalgia button really well is like, there's something kind of pure in a way because it might suck even, it's like, it's really shitty when you look back at like what the old platforms, even MySpace in its early days, but there's something kind of, because it wasn't there to exploit. It wasn't there to profit off of people. Right. It was literally just a platform for people to post content or make people laugh.
Right, sure.
And maybe for filmmakers to get a start.
Yeah, like I like the idea that it exists on a platform, which is why I'm glad I watched The Champ on YouTube,
Yeah.
But like, and for the most part, like this will exist on YouTube and other places as well. But like, it's this idea that all of a sudden you have a platform for independent artists. This did not really exist in the early 2000s when, we were going to high school and college and all this other shit. And so, I think like by time DSLRs came out, when those fucking cameras were everywhere, that's when things all of a sudden became a big fucking deal. And now iPhones even shoot, like comparable to that. And your head just spins because you're like, oh, I could do this a million different ways.
Yeah.
If you have a million different styles and there are a million different styles of paintbrushes, you have to know the tools. how they work, how they operate, where to use them in critical situations, and like even then, you know, that's the art school of it all. I don't think most people are doing that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But like that's kind of where, you know, I like talking about this stuff because it makes people aware. You know, they're just not aware of it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, but that is a revelation, man, for sure.
Yeah, we're living through some really interesting times. It is kind of like a new renaissance, just because of technology. And what it's moving us towards.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are afraid of AI and all this kind of stuff, but I mean, if you work with it, it can be...
I'm not afraid of AI. I'm afraid of the people who operate.
Yes.
You know.
And I think all of us should
have
a healthy trepidation of that,
the Oppenheimer effect. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
The big question, right? Like, who's really operating this fucking thing?
It's kind of like the dude that came out with ChatGPT, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like now he's like, I wish I could put it back in the box. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, it's too late, brother.
I mean, honestly, though, like, I actually like ChatGPT.
Oh, it's super handy.
It's helped me figure out how to format resumes and stuff like that. Like, it comes in handy with cover letters. It's, you know, it's not like, you know, an all terrible thing. You know, it's just this idea of where we're at with AI, which, you know, we'll get on another topic because, I mean, technically, we're talking about it, you know, we're talking about it in front of digital cameras, for Christ's sakes. They can hear our every word. You know what I mean? So, but no, let's switch gears real quick. So how did you come across Jack Rogers and the Champ and this whole little project that we worked on? Because, you know, I mean, it just seems like, that's what I'm really like. When did you come out to LA? You know, when did you actually, like, you know, when did all of this kind of come to fruition? We were like, I got to go out to Los Angeles. I got to pursue this for real. Yeah. And here we are today. So how did we get here?
Yeah. So I was living in the UK, and as I was kind of deconstructing my life history like you were talking about, just where I've come from, and I realized, like, man, I really love acting. I love the arts. I want to spend some time and focus on it. But I wasn't like, this is it. You know, I've got to jump in this. It was more so this exploratory side. And I had gotten into a school over there, but then I had some family stuff, so we came back to the States, and I just deferred up until like September of 2019. So I hadn't been to acting school. I've just done classes here and there throughout college and high school, but this was my first time. I was like, you know what? I'm going to really invest in myself, in this craft, and see what happens. And so I dove in 2019, and then of course COVID hit in 2020. Right. So it kind of cut my time short. And I took almost a year off while everything was happening.
On top of already taking years off.
Yeah, I was so deflated and like heartbroken. I was like, I just got back into this, and now the world stopped. Did living in the UK for a little bit kind of like reignite some of that inspiration? Because I mean, they're very heavy in the arts over there. They are. I think here's the thing about the UK is like they're very open. They're very progressive, especially in London, and like the arts is part of it. And there's just like no shade. People are like, yeah, absolutely. Like I had some friends over there that were actors, and it's more on the theatrical side. They're doing more plays and whatnot.
Sure. And
I think because it has such a long running tradition with Shakespeare and whatnot, there is like it's almost like highbrow, like it's high art. It's
people take it very seriously.
They take it seriously, and that's why they pump out some of the best actors globally.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Right. So that's why it was important to me that I went to a conservatory style school, and that was connected with London. So they opened up a branch over here.
Okay,
called Identity School of Acting. So I did about 2 years there, and I also studied with, and she's my coach. Her name is Anna Steers, and she deals primarily with Meisner technique. So we were talking about Meisner. I love Meisner.
No, me too.
It's taking me to the next level.
It took me a long time to appreciate it, but yes, I didn't realize I was doing it until I was doing it in my regular life. I was like, oh God. It's like, I was like, fuck this oh wait, that's right, you know, fuck this program. You know, like, because that's the thing, you know, I now I understand, but like it took a while to kind of get used to it, you know, and
100%, and probably appreciate it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And so much of it is just psychology, and that's really what we are as like actors. It's like we study psychology, we study human beings, and talk about like people watching.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Big time.
And it is that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so important to like dig into yourself, know yourself. It's just as important to get to know oneself. And I would never, like some people, they call like acting classes therapy sessions, and I would never. You might have some breakthroughs, but it is not therapy. It's class. Like, go see a therapist.
Seriously.
You know, that's separate. Never blur the two. I think that's kind of a ridiculous notion.
No, I know. Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's like, yeah, that's kind of how I feel with sports too. It's just an escape. You know, it's just like really like all of it just kind of should mirror that to some extent, right? You know what I mean?
You're playing a different life.
Oh, big time, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know, yeah. But it gets confusing too because when you start adding these ideas of like, oh, but it's truthful elements, you know, just it's like it's just a life, man. You know what I mean? You're just doing the job, right? But you're doing it, you know, with intent, and that's I think the real trick to most of it, and most people don't. You know, they just don't even think about that. They're like, you know, but you know, that's why it's important to understand these, you know, techniques.
Yeah. I think that's why I also appreciate Meisner, and there's other techniques that are similar in that it's about being present. I don't like my personal and professional life to bleed. Sometimes you can't help it.
Right.
I know, like my wife, she's there's been roles that are a bit more like dark or mentally taxing, and I think I've gotten better with it over time. You know, there's times where I've played like a serial killer, and going into that place, it's pretty dark, and especially if you want to live in it and kind of understand it and the psychology of it.
That just sounds hard. Yeah,
it's a challenge, but I think like I'm a glutton for that. I like a challenge.
Oh no, same. Yeah.
It's more rewarding when you're like, oh wow, I went there, and then you get to see the work,
or like you can find a way to play outside of your comfort zones.
100%.
You know, and that's really the big challenge, I think. You know, that most actors kind of are pushing themselves towards. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, it works or it doesn't work, you know. I think when you kind of like are watching somebody, you kind of forget that you're watching, you know, your best friend or something like that. Then you realize, oh, okay, this is fascinating. You know, this is the real work, you know. And I got that with a few of the movies that came out this year, but not a whole lot, you know.
Yeah.
Or you start believing in, oh, okay, that's the actor did a good job, you know.
Yeah.
Which is really like the only thing I think most kind of, I don't know, true actors are going for, really. You know, they're not trying to be the star of the show per se, but they're just trying to fulfill everything else, all the little gaps. So yeah, that's kind of how I felt when I was doing it. You know, and I watch it back, I go, whew, you know, mustache was very striking.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Bring it back.
So yeah, no,
Bring it back, brother.
Right. Hey, it's a time period. So I'm actually trying to get some sun. I'm actually trying
to get some sun.
Trying to make that. I gotta go more clean shaven this time around. So,
okay.
But no. So how does so you're doing a lot of different roles, like 2020 rolls around. You know, everything's shut down. So
right.
So 2021 is when you get back into the full swing of things, right?
Yeah. I started training again, and then it was like 2023 that I finished my stint at school, and I was like, it's time. Even though we had the actor strikes and all that, and the writer strikes, for me it was like, look, it's time to just like jump in, start the book, and self-submit.
Are you in the union or no?
No, not yet.
Are you eligible or anything like that?
Not yet.
So you're just like, fuck it. This has nothing to do with me.
Exactly.
I'm going for it. Yeah, that's fucking, hey man, you know, do it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, to be honest, like the union hasn't really like helped me other than get me paid for a day. You know what I mean? That's really it. The rest is kind of on you to do it, you know? And unless you're like actually casually booking, which I don't know how anyone's casually booking anything. I really don't. I've met those people and I'm like, what? How?
There's a rare
what's
few.
The secret?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like but most of them are like, you know, lying through their teeth, right? Like they have agents, they have booking agents, you know, they got people.
You need a team.
I know.
You really
Everyone,
do.
don't we all? Right?
We do.
So,
it's the only way you're gonna make it in this
time.
But yeah, so for me it was I need to get out there. I need to do this myself.
Right.
And I wasn't gonna let the strike stop me. Because I was like, I'm not there yet. I'm not in the union. and I should be able to make art still.
Oh, absolutely.
Like there's all these like student films happening. There's all these small scale indie projects.
Sure.
And I mean, obviously everybody's going to follow their own values and their own convictions. And I felt like, okay, I gotta play my plot. This is my journey.
Right.
It would be a different story if, 5 years down the road, here I am in SAG and I'm like, yeah, come on, man, we need.
How did the submission process go for you though? Like, were you submitting to like projects every single day? Was it every week? Like, how did it work?
Probably just like a couple of times a week, just going on Actors Access or casting networks.
Just casually looking.
Yeah. And submitting for things that excited me. Because you could just blindly submit for anything, sure. But what are the roles that like would be a dream role, even if it's just like small and indie?
Right.
And that was when I saw Jack's project on Actors Access. I was like, I loved it because they were looking for a wrestler. They were looking for somebody with like gorgeous long hair, and I was like, well, I get long hair. And I was like, I don't have wrestling experience, but I'll take some hits if need be. And again, like the challenge, just learning a craft and diving into something.
Right.
Biting off more than I can chew.
Would you say that you had like the body type for it too, or?
I've always been like, I love going to the gym, so I like being fit.
You're casual. Are you an avid goer or are you a casual?
Yeah, I go like 4 to 5 times a week.
Okay, so yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's not like you felt that you were right for the part, basically, that you fit that type.
I was going to make myself right for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know when they were going to be filming it. I submitted for it. And I was actually out of country. I was in France at the time, visiting a cousin in Nice. And I heard back from Jack and Juan. Juan was the director. And they were asking for a callback. And I was like, well, guys, I'm out of the country. Can I just do a Zoom chat with you? And they were like, yeah, sure. So I jerry-rigged. This was like my cousin's guest room that his mom used to use, and I just like stacked a bunch of books up, used my camera.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
it's nighttime when it's their daytime.
Oh, it was like completely all over the place.
Wow, that's fascinating.
So it's kind of
I love that
fun story.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
you're right.
That's how all the great stories start. It's like
it's true.
Yeah, that's fucking cool. So, and then you're just then you got the part immediately, right? I mean,
yeah, they let me know within the next day or so that they wanted to cast me.
That's really cool, man. Okay.
And they were like, okay, you're gonna take some bumps and whatnot, and I was like, sure, let's do it. And yeah, Jack got me hooked up with. He had a buddy of his, Lucas, that was gonna be kind of mitigating all the stunts and working through that stuff.
Very cool.
And then we had the chance to go to Knox Pro. They're a semi-pro wrestling gym. So they train up guys and gals to hit the main stage.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
Yeah,
I love how he was telling me about all of that too, and I was like, you're getting trainers, you're getting like people help, like that's wild,
like real pros.
Yeah.
So Rami, but
it's like a lot of people that he knew offhand, which is great.
Yeah, there was like some offhand connections and stuff like that, but he just like so cold called Rami from Knox Pro, who runs the gym there.
Wow, okay.
And he's actually cousins with The Rock. So they're part of that whole Samoan dynasty thing.
Yeah.
So that was pretty wild, man.
Yeah. No, I really wanted to go that day too, just to check it out and hang out.
You should.
You know what I mean? I was shooting something else. I forgot exactly what I was doing, but I was like, I had a stack day that day because it was like a Saturday, of course. So yeah, but like that sounds like one hell of an experience, Like,
it really was. Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, it opened my eyes completely. Iron Claw had come out back in, I think, December of 2023.
It was literally that same year.
Yeah. And it just like, because I think Jack didn't even mean for that. Like, well, because he wrote this script.
Yeah. Because like I think, because we shot that in 24, right?
Yes.
And it came
January
out
of last
recently.
year. Yeah.
So it came out. So then, because Iron Claw, the Oscars were up for that year. That's so crazy to think about. I mean, hey, when it's hot, right? Because like that's what I told him too. I was like, it's a good story. It comes out at a good time when people are like watching the same type of thing. Wrestling movies are big. Now they're coming out with another boxing movie with The Weeknd coming out in a couple months now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a boxing. It looks like a boxing movie or a UFC movie or something. But there's all that that's hot
Right.
these, right now.
Yeah,
So,
wrestling's coming back
yeah.
too.
But no, it was a good project, man. I really enjoyed it. I really dug it. I like the fact that, it plays, like you were saying, it plays like a feature, and it kind of does. It's just like a very short form feature.
Yeah.
The fact that it's 20 minutes is good, because it's just a bold time.
And he had to whittle that down.
Yeah, no,
It
he was telling me he was
lot
editing
of
it for a
footage.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was editing it for a long time.
Did you have to do any ADR work around that?
A little bit of ADR.
Yeah.
But he was really happy with how most of it was captured. Yeah, there was just maybe like 2-3 lines I had to do some ADR for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, but I love how the fights were coordinated. They were funny, like they were fun because they were cheesy, but they were like also, real enough where it's like, I don't want to hurt this person, but I can suspend my disbelief long enough to be like, okay, that works. You know what I mean? Because everyone bought into it. You know?
So there was such a mixture of actual wrestling, and then some things for camera angles, but a lot of the blows are real.
Even that roundhouse kick to the face that you do on that one dude.
Yeah.
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 Like, did you actually hit him?
Just slightly.
Wow.
Because
That's
this is a big difference between, when we learn in acting school for stage combat and all that.
Yeah.
The whole point is to make it look like you're striking, but not actually.
No, right.
Or because you really put it on the receiver.
Slightly off.
Yes,
right?
it's slightly off. And the whole point is you want to protect them. In wrestling, you want to make it look as real as possible, and it's not on camera, right? So you need to send it all the way to the back of the stadium. So these guys, you're actually smacking each other. When me and Doug, who's playing Johnny Knox, he like when you're throwing fists, you're literally just pulling it right here. So you graze each other. So we clocked each other a few times, like a few good hits.
Did you lose any teeth or anything? Or?
No, I was bleeding though.
Yeah.
And I got him right in the temple too.
Yeah, no, it looked real. I mean, like, that was the crazy thing too. Like, at a certain point, I was like, fuck, man, this is like... There were some good takes where, like, I did notice some blood. I did notice some cuts and
oh, yeah.
All that sweat. I couldn't tell if it was, like, actual sweat because it was hot or if it was glycerin.
Like, I think he was bleeding a little bit. Like...
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah,
yeah. There was some real blood on set.
Did you feel like, finally, like with the physicality of this role in particular, did you actually feel like you made it?
In a way,
yeah.
I was just like, wow, the scope of this, the depth in which I'm
because you're doing the training, you're doing the stunt work. You don't have a stunt guy. You're doing the work.
Oh, yeah. I had no double. So I'm doing it all myself.
What did Jack think, about all this? You know what I mean?
He was really impressed. He was like, you knew nothing, and you, like, dove in. And these guys, like, are actually semi-pro wrestlers. And they're like, no, he's holding up.
Wow. Okay.
Like, we were learning stuff. Like, I learned how to do a body slam, like, day of.
Jesus fucking
Yeah.
Christ. Did you break anything?
No, thank God.
Hurt yourself at all? Like any like?
I took a body slam.
I mean, no wonder you're like, it's hard work. I'm tired. I'm like, no wonder you're still tired.
Dude, I was destroyed. Like, we did all the wrestling scenes in 2 days.
Wow.
And I wrestled, I think, 10 people.
Over the course of like 8 hours?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So, it was like, I think we did all my scenes with Johnny Knox on like a Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And I worked with one other guy, Eli, maybe. The first scene when I come out and we wrestle.
Yeah.
So that one was a pretty easy scene.
Mm-hmm.
The one with Johnny Knox, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
It took us a while. Sunday was the gauntlet. And all these guys wanted to wrestle. They wanted to get in. And it was perfect because for the montage, you see me with all these different guys.
Day 100, yeah.
I did all those in one day.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And I had to, one guy, Alex, I had to throw him at the, the turnbuckle. And after a couple of them, I'm like, guys, I don't know if I have any more in the tank. Because heavy dude, big dude. I was impressed that I was able to get him up fully and launch him.
Yeah.
But man, it was fatiguing. I was impressed with my body. I had no idea it could go to that extent. Mm-hmm. And 37. I was 37 at the time. I was like really impressed. I was like, I still got it, man. I didn't know I could pull this off.
Do you ever like, my whole question in life is, does that ever get to anybody? You know what I mean? Do you ever start feeling your age, per se?
100%.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what that means, honestly, because I'm 35, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I know shit's changing, but I don't know exactly what. You know what I mean? In terms of like, oh, I can handle this versus, oh, I can't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think as I've been consistently working out since I was like 18.
Sure.
That I can feel my body, and it's fatigued easier. I'm still strong. It's a difference, and you notice it.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Knowing thyself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
It's trippy. Like
Yeah.
I've had to. That's another like kind of thing. Like grieving and accepting that about yourself. Is you're like, I'm not a young buck anymore. But your body's still incredible, and the things that you can do, and you can still push new boundaries. And I hope that when I get into my 40s, that I'll be stronger than ever.
Yeah, but let's we don't have to focus on that.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Yeah,
but.
yeah, we're not there yet. But fuck, man, that is wild. Brutal like exertion all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like. Did you have to change things in your diet? Your overall like way of life leading up to that, all of this work? I mean, like how did you prep for this thing? Like other than going to the gym, was there what was your conditioning? Was there any? I mean, how long before, like after you got cast, up until shooting? Like there was like months ahead, right? Or
no,
weeks?
I had 4 weeks.
Okay.
So I got cast in December. And I'm in France. I get back in the next few days. I'm like, I gotta dive right in. Like I don't have a choice. Like because I took a break. I was away for like 10 days between England and France.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not even working out. So I'm like, shit, I really need to dive in. I want this to look as real as possible. I want this to look good for me. I want this to look good for the character and the story.
Yeah.
And so I talked to a buddy of mine that I work with, and he's big into gym and exercise science and all that. So I was like, look, I need to put on as much pounds as I can in a short amount of time. And I did all this research. I was like, the most you can kind of do is like 5 pounds maybe in a month. Maybe a little more.
We're talking about muscle weight?
Muscle weight.
Wow.
And that's, you got to make sure you're eating a shit ton of protein. So I did everything I could. I started taking creatine. I started working out 5 days a week. I changed up my routine with exercise. I started running more because I wanted to slim down too. I was like, I want to cut and I also want to bulk. And that's usually you don't do two at the same time. You bulk and then you cut. But I was like, I don't have a choice. I have 4 weeks and 5 weeks. God. So yeah, I put on about, I think 5 pounds at the same time losing weight. So I probably put on like 7 pounds of muscle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point in time where you're like, oh, this just feels very irresponsible?
There were times I was like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm not even getting paid.
Right. Well, yeah, I don't mean it on that level, but in terms of like, I mean, because, the whole time I'm thinking like, were they, what were they thinking in terms of like how buff you needed to be? Did that ever cross their mind where, oh my God, he's not The Rock.
Right.
He's a white boy from Long Island.
Right.
How are we going to make this work?
Yeah.
Because I mean, really, it's like there's got to be a natural presence to it, but it still works in the final product, which is fascinating. But they just had to get it done, right? Like they were just moving forward with hell or high water, right?
I think it also helped the time period that it's taking place, late 70s, early 80s.
That is true, yeah, because they're not on steroids yet.
Yeah, it's just kind of like burgeoning. That's just starting.
Pre-Hulk Hogan years.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
Where there was this expectation that you had to be massive, right? A mountain of a man. Like if you look back at all these clips from the 70s, a lot of these guys, I mean, they just look like normal dudes.
Yeah.
They might be a little like stocky.
It's interesting. Yeah.
But some of them are even gangly. I'm like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
So for me I think I was about like 195 pounds when we shot it. It translates over the camera, and I'm like, I look big.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's
big enough.
Yeah, no, it works. It works, and it's cool to see, and just that whole costume. I mean, you're living life. You're having a blast.
Yeah.
I think that's really when people do their best work, is when they're having a good time. But what are you thinking though when you're shooting this thing? I mean, you're married, right? So is your wife giving, what's her response to all of this life changing all of a sudden within a month? You know what I mean?
I think she's she's in it for the journey, but she's a good sport. She really is, because she hears all of my insecurities, I'm not big enough for this role. Oh my God, my worries, and then my complaints too of like, oh my God, I have to work at the same time because I'm not making money for this, but I'm so excited to do this project.
Right.
Because I was meeting with my acting coach too, so I'm putting money out there. There's things that you're investing in myself, because I want.
You're all in.
Yeah, I'm all in. I want to make this thing look awesome, and the plan, and it's already happening now, where Jack is like submitting it to festivals. So the hope is, to see something come from it, for there to be traction.
Yeah, there definitely will. It'll definitely get played.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a good stepping stone. It's a good tool to have, I mean, but man, it's just like, you put yourself through a lot, just to make that shit happen.
Dude, I was waking up at like 6 a.m. before we were shooting, just so I could work out. Just like hit the gym.
Were you ever
get
like
that
a morning person before that, or no?
No.
Because you work nights, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like...
I was bartending at the time, so...
And you're leaving at like what, like midnight?
Yeah, midnight 1.
And then waking up 5 hours later.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or some of those days.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, or we're on set for 10 hours and then go home, I'm just like wiped.
So then why do we do what we do?
I guess we love it, man.
We're
we're sick.
Would you trade... Yeah, we definitely are. But like, would you trade that time for like anything else?
No.
Yeah.
Because like you get to see the finished product, and it's the journey, man. It's like you have those memories, and you're like, man, what a cool story.
Right.
Even if I don't show it to you, like I got to live it.
Right.
And the people we meet, like people like I met Doug, and I met like all these other wrestling guys that are so like talented. And we just had our premiere in February, and right beforehand I was like, yo, Doug, I have an idea. So, and he came up with great ideas for it too. But we decided that like we were going to put our wrestling gear underneath our clothes. And,
awesome.
And so we surprised everybody, and we had Jack. I say like, I just want to give a special thank you, like beyond anyone else on the team on set. And it's going to go to Doug. And so then I get up, and we improv the whole thing, and it's funny because at first, you hear everybody and they're laughing, they think we're just playing, and then they're like, "Shit, is this real?" Like it's this hush came over.
It's so amazing
because like we were going at it, and Jack's getting in between us. It was so much fun. Yeah, and it's just like
larger than life.
Yeah, and Doug is one of those guys, so it's just like we have a good time. We had a lot of fun on set.
That's the best.
He brought so much to that character. Like I couldn't have asked for a better opponent.
Right.
He's great, and the fact that he does it in real life. So he was super essential in helping me with learning some of the moves and making them readable and where it looks real.
That's awesome.
And another guy, Ray Rico, I think is his stage name, his wrestling name, but he choreographed like most of that stuff. So just shout out to him, because like we wouldn't have been able to do what we did and make it look so real without his help. He's the one that has a chair and he's got the blood.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I throw him out of the ring. And
that was good. I like how like the chair kind of bounced off the thing. Because like when it hit him in the face, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Like, he sold it.
And some of these dudes, they're like in it. They're like commit, like not just in it, but they're like committing to that bit
because this is what they want to do.
Well, of course. No, of course.
They're so passionate.
I wanted to do another take of our scene.
I know.
I was like, can we please do one more? And they're like, we don't have the time. And
we got squeezed at the end of the day.
I was like, if anything, I would have done it like, I was because I was thinking about it. I was like, well, I have the mustache, and I was like what if they made me sweaty? You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like the Chris Farley guy. You know what I mean? Because I was playing a very like straight, like you know, but I was like
drinking whiskey, sweating.
That was the character that like I came up with. Like I was like, well, I gotta play it like Dick Cavett, you know, because he's like a hero of mine when it comes to like people like that. But then I had the fucking mustache, and I was like, well, Dick Cavett never had a mustache. You know what I mean? So I was like, why did I keep the damn mustache? Because Jack wanted it, you know?
I loved it, man.
He'd be like, that'd be cool. You know, and I was like, all right, sure, why not? You know, so I kept that. But then, you know, when we were doing it, I was like, maybe I should have done an accent. You know, maybe I should have like had more fun with it. But
I think you had enough of like a middle America.
It was just good.
Accent.
It was just right there. But you know, it was just like one of those things where I was like, man, I wanted to commit a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because then watching everyone else do it, I was like, wow, they're having a fucking blast. I was like, everyone's having a good time, and I had a good time too. I just like hanging out, you know, and you know, it was nice to meet you. It was nice to meet everybody who was working on that, you know, and to kind of like build that framework for what would be, you know, other things in the future,
right?
You know, because you never know where anything's gonna land, but
never know.
You know, it's all part of the job, right? So, but you know,
it's true, and to be frank, like I didn't know how that was gonna like come off on camera because it was rushed, right? It was the end of the day.
I was scared.
They were literally going to kick us out.
That's how you know your shit. That's how you have to know everything.
The grounds,
you know, like
we just had to jump in and just give the lines, do the thing. But I have to say, like watching it.
It doesn't play off like that at all.
No,
yeah. Because I was terrified too. I was scared because I was like, if I don't know my line, he doesn't know his line. You know what I mean? So I was like, I got to get this right. And then just something comes over you where you're just like, you know, it's just like, you know.
Especially when you don't have
out and
time.
Right.
Like, I just got to do it.
Yeah. You just have to jump in, you know.
Can't overthink.
It's just, right? I know, and then you know, but perfectionists, right? Who fucking knew, you know? So, but what's next, man? What do you got? Are you still self-submitting? Did you get another project because of this? What's the deal here?
I think I haven't seen because it just came out in January, and we're only sending it to people that you know it's a private file.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm glad it exists because people can see it. I understand that, you know.
We don't have it public yet,
just
because we are submitting it to festivals with festival rules and all that. We don't want to share that over socials. But, so like friends and family, you know. We did our premiere. Right. We're
what does your family think about it?
Oh, they get so caught up in it. Like, they get upset though because they're like, I could never imagine you being this way. It's really funny because, like, you know, I'm a deadbeat dad. I'm kind of a dick in some ways. I'm somebody I would never be. I'd say I'm a tenacious person. So like, there's definitely some shared qualities between me and Shaun White, but he is a shade of myself that I don't explore, you know, I don't often live out of. So
was it hard for you to get into a headspace
here and there, you know? I had to come back to his truths, and that helped. I think working with a coach really helped.
Well, I mean, really at the end of the day, you made it all about the kid, right? You made it all about your son.
Well, I lie to myself that it's all about the son.
I see.
It's really all about me.
Nice little twist.
Yeah.
I
think he has that.
Which is kind of true in a way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that one shot where, you know, that chick just grabs him and he starts making out with her on live.
Oh, yeah.
It was just like, how? You know what I mean? Like, this guy is either ballsy or, like, he's not afraid or, like, but yeah, no, it's true. Like, yeah, I could see that. So.
Well, I think he blurred the worlds. Like, he feels most himself when he's on stage and he's in the ring. So playing that character, because he's obviously different in real life, and I think that was also a challenge of like, I've got to play the stage presence of Shaun versus like home life. What does that look like? That was cool to find that, and then also
did your coach help you find that kind of like little aspect, or did you come across that?
I think both of us. You know, I came with
because I was gonna say, like, we were talking about, like, you know, hey, this is my therapy. It's not therapy, but like, at what point was your coach your therapist in trying to figure out this character?
Sure,
and
that's usually our coaching sessions.
Yeah,
she probes. She asks a lot of questions.
Right.
Whether I've come to that point or not.
Right.
But you know, sometimes it's like you just like sink into the character as much as you can, and let them hit you with those questions. And what comes out? What's your response? I think that's where like some improv chops help too. But yeah, I had to kind of come up with like his whole life and his backstory and why, like what are his truths? Why is he doing this? But then he, you know, we all sometimes lie to ourselves, and Sean, he lies to himself. You know, he says that he's doing it for the family, even when he's on the interview with your character. He says, you know, everything I do is for you. I love you. And he's not. In his head he is. But he's spending 100 days away from his family. He's not going to his son's game.
No,
you know, he's not there.
Because I'm writing something that's pretty similar to like that kind of like theme, you know, and yeah, it's interesting on how like these are just dudes. You know, as much of like you know, fanatics as we are, you know, for like, you know, sports and whatever the fuck have you, these are just guys playing for their contract, you know, these are just guys playing for whatever the fuck it is at the moment. And so, you know, we often tend to wear their names on our backs, which is really crazy in retrospect.
I know, when you think about it, right?
Yeah, because who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? You could have been a murderer. You know what I mean? For all I know. But like, you know.
But it's about what they represent. They're a symbol, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. And so, but that's, you know, an interesting topic because, you know, it's not every day that you get to work on a project that's, you know, a student film. I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, yeah.
But a project that is created by kids who go to a fucking film school and have it be deep and,
I know.
and centralized, you know? Especially when you're shooting, you're just like, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, the sets weren't perfect, right? But whatever. But
it's like limited budget. Like, what can you do?
Yeah, there's nothing you could have done.
Right.
You know, I mean, you could fill that up with all of these pavo tubes, and it probably still would have looked like a set. You know. Yeah. But like either which way, it's prepping you for like, oh well, this is how everything is done. This is how all the sets look. I mean, I was a PI one trio like back in like 2011. You know, season 7, and like that was an experience.
Yeah.
But like, when you walk, there's something weird about walking onto a set of a major production and realizing, oh, this is just plywood.
Seeing behind the curtain.
Yeah. No, it's just the same way, but the difference is that they have like the billions of lights, the billions of fucking, you know, so it's like when you suspend your disbelief, but you're watching something that's, you know, like still of quality, even though that, you know what I mean, that you guys were doing it for like the budget that it was. It's fucking crazy cool, you know. I really do hope that festivals pick it up. Yeah. Just so people can actually see, oh, here's a conscious story. Didn't really have the money, but that's not what we're focusing on. Right. We're focusing on people's talents as individuals, you know.
Yeah. And just like the heart and what's been poured into this thing.
Of course, yeah.
And the vision. And I think Jack, he took on, despite, you know, even his professors like saying, you know, this is quite an undertaking. I don't know.
It was super ambitious.
It was ambitious.
For sure. Yeah. But I mean, you got to do it like that, right? How else are you going to get anything done? You know?
But I think to Jack's, you know, his, not even defense, but just to his side, like my wife, she works for a director. And I'm not going to get into names and all that kind of stuff. But
I was wondering if she worked in the industry. That was going to be like...
Yeah.
No, it's all good. You don't have to... Yeah.
And, well, little Easter egg. She's the one that kisses me in that scene.
Which is no funny. Shit. Yeah. That's so funny.
It just kind of worked out that way.
That's so funny. I had no
So she's a super fan.
That's great, dude. That's amazing.
I know. Yeah. Isn't it really funny?
Well, but you know what, though? Congratulations on getting a gal who understands and knows the shit that you're going through. Yeah. The trials and tribulations.
She sees all the back of the house
shit.
Oh, yeah, it's a shit show, man.
It's a nightmare. Yeah. I mean, I'm coming to the conclusion that I probably will be single the rest of my life. Just because of my lifestyle. Look at my fucking man cave, dude. You know what I mean?
You might find someone that loves it, dude.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
she'll be wearing your...
I know, right? The Guy Fawkes mask. Yeah, I got to get a new one. That thing's busted. I've had that for years. That thing's all fucked up. You know what I mean? Great but, like, movie. That's the thing, though, is that, like, yeah, no, for real. It's like, you know... That's impressive, man, because it's not every day that you get people who are like on your side about things. Yeah. And it seems to me you had like a lot of arrows pointing you in this direction, you know, like not just.
And I've needed it, to be honest,
for sure,
because I've looked for all the right reasons to throw in the towel. You know, like I'm not there for family, or this is irresponsible, or you know, whatever it is. Just, you know, pick the day.
Right.
But
no, same. Yeah. You feel somewhat guilty that you're like, you don't have family living in the middle of the country. They're back on the East Coast, right?
They're all on the East Coast,
and then 2,500 miles away.
Yeah.
And it's just like brutal because like they're doing their life far. It's almost like far faster. It's like we're living in like a black hole of sorts. You know what I mean? Where it's just like we're trying to get somewhere.
You're like, how am I?
3 years. Or 1 year in LA is 3 years everywhere else. That's what I've been saying when I first moved here. And it's true. It feels like everything moves faster.
Things move very, very slow here. Well, I should say in the industry.
Relatively,
getting somewhere, it takes time.
Yes, of course, yeah.
I think
you have to work, you have to cultivate talent, you have to like do things.
Yeah.
You know? No, I totally get that. And it's not every day that we get to work on sets, you know, or in studios, let alone... You know, I mean, yeah, sure.
Maybe a few times a year, you know?
Oh, no, yeah, for sure. I mean, fuck, man. I was lucky in 2022, right before the strike kicked off, I just joined SAG and I had a bunch of work. And I was like, oh, cool, I could get used to this. You know what I mean? You know,
right.
Plug is pulled, you know, fucking, I got COVID. I was lucky to work on a few little random things before the strike happened. Strike happens. You know, everyone's like, what do we do now? You know,
right.
And so, but here we are, right? You know, airing our grievances in podcast form, which is, hey, you know, it's the best way.
Part of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I do think that, like, out of all, like, the mediums, I do think that, like, you know, this one is becoming more popular. I think that people are actually, you know, they're enjoying the fact that they're listening to other people's struggles or ambitions or just life journey, and they're getting inspired by it one way or another.
And honesty, right?
Oh, for sure.
It's like there's this veneer on social media, or
yes,
even when we're branding ourselves or whatever it is, like everybody, it's the highlight reel that we're seeing. We're not seeing what's really going on behind the scenes. So I think with like a podcast, what's so wonderful is then we get to hear even like other creatives or professionals that have been doing this for a long time, and they're like, oh yeah, sometimes it doesn't get easier. You know, you have your wins, but then there's times where there's no work. And what do you do? And I was watching a video with Josh Groban, and just like his story around No Country for Old Men, and I think I botched his last name, right? Brolin.
Josh Groban. I was like, the singer? I was like, the singer? What?
Yeah, you know, Josh Groban. He was
he did No Country for Old Men. He did. What movie was I watching?
I was so convinced. Convince you.
No,
it was Josh Brolin.
I was picking up on it. I was like, I'm not gonna correct him. You know. But yeah, all good. Man.
You should have.
No, but yeah, right. But like, you know, and you talk about like a dude who is like connected to himself. You know, I mean,
I've been doing this thing for 1,000 years. But he was like, I was broke.
Right. Well, okay, yes. Well, you know, when you come like. He's the only nepotized guy that I'm like, I'm cool with. You know what I mean?
Great.
Like, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, he's tripped
awesome
mushrooms.
actor.
He knows what it's like. You know what I mean? Like, he's gone down that road. I think that personally, like, you know, you need a dude like that in your roster, in your arsenal, whatever the fuck it is. You know, you need to observe people like that. You know, and that's a hero, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could look at dudes like, I mean, because like he's hot right now, Timothée Chalamet, right? You know, you could look at that dude, but that dude has not had a very normal upbringing. You know, he dated Madonna's kid, for Christ's sakes. Like, that is not normal by any stretch of the imagination. Not normal.
Even the schools he was attending in New York.
Like, for sure, big buku bucks, because his dad was an AD and his mom was, I think, she was a makeup person or something like that. But they're both connected in the industry. You know. And so, like...
And to have someone to give you somewhat of a roadmap. I think that's a big part.
That's a huge part.
Of, like, when you're getting into this industry, no one has, like, a roadmap.
Nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. And I kind of respect that more so, because it brings me back to, like, when we were kids in the 90s, and we were watching movies with, like, dudes, like, I could do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I could be Keanu. You know what I mean? I could be, like, you know, I could do... You know, any of the things that these guys
looks so
doing.
attainable.
And now it feels more feudal, right? Where it's like a feudalism kind of thing, where it's like, oh, you know, what school did they go to? Juilliard, ugh. You know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, I'm tired of that, but I get it. I understand why. But that's also my argument with like, you know, with people doing like background and feature work, you know, like, and I love doing background and feature work just because I like watching how the big boys are doing their things, you know?
Yeah.
And like the biggest thing for me when I notice all this stuff is, oh, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, we're the common people. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to, you know?
Yeah.
But we also we work, we get our hands on training, and we work and we do the things that we do. It's almost like free film school, free theater school, because like we're learning of, oh, I can't do this. Nobody talks like moving their hands and doing this shit and nodding the whole time. That's like to get noticed background shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you pick out these like flaws, these inherent things, and then the more you do it, eventually they'll give you a voucher. That's how I became SAG, was just doing background, you know?
Yeah.
And then eventually I was like, oh wow, now I know what to do and what not to do. And now I realize like, oh, I have a lot of foibles. I have a lot of insecure things that I'm doing sometimes. I work with my hands a lot. You know, and that's good and bad. I know when to turn it off, you know, or at least make it a part of you. But
It's the Massapequa in you know?
Oh, for sure. But what, I'm sorry to cut you off about Josh Brolin, though. But yeah, please go on. Like, you know.
No, all that to say was just
yeah.
like, it provides this kind of myopic lens so that we can hear stories and see stories and hear from people and their truth accounts. It's often, like I said, we're just getting a highlight reel, or we don't really know the full story, or we're getting a magazine article that's been edited to extinction.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we get the raw, like from their mouth, online,
Uncut,
unfiltered, and it's really healing and healthy because you feel seen. You're like, okay. And that's as a human being, we just need to see other humans, and we need to know like it wasn't all daisies. Like, oh, so you had bad days too. Oh, so I thought you were successful, and man, you didn't know when you were going to get your next paycheck. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. That's why I like it when people like, you know, win awards. You're not certain who that actor was. You know what I mean? And it's very few and far between, you know, but it's like, yeah, there are success stories, or, you know, those moments where because like you know, and a lot of my guests say the same shit too, where it's like they don't believe in quitting, you know, and I understand that, you know, I don't understand what quitting means either, you know, because there's this drive to be like, well, fuck that guy, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna do what they can do, you know, and I could do it better. But there's also times where I'm just like, I don't know where to go. And I don't know where to go because like we don't have that roadmap, or we aren't meeting the same people. You know, and usually like, cause I don't like going out to I hate going to events. I hate networking. I hate talking to people like that. You know, cause when there's an inherent reason to network, I shut down. I'm like, nah, dude. I'm like, you know, that's
well,
just,
you're a sincere
hard,
guy. So
know?
To go to a place where it's like, I'm looking for someone to be my solution or savior or something, it's kind of a...
Right, yeah, no,
it's
right.
a strange...
I can't stand that shit. And also, too, it's just like, you know, I also feel like, you know, people deserve platforms. You know, there should be a platform. I don't necessarily think it's 15 minutes anymore. I think it's kind of like turned down to 15 seconds.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
But that means that everyone gets a chance, right?
For better or worse.
Well, look at the Haktua girl. For better or worse.
But you implode.
Worse.
That's what happened, right?
And she did. Yeah. I mean, she's kind of like laying it low, but that was a fucking wild year and a half.
I know.
Where it's just like, okay, what is happening here? You know, and you could see it with all these other people too. They're like basically like jumping ship to these free platforms, you know, and it's just like, we get it. But again, we're not fucking stupid. You know, we know where you're coming from. I could read you. Like, you need money, dude. And of course, we all need money, right? But like, you know, my buddy on an earlier episode, he said, well, money's a tool to help me go to cafes. So I can hang out with my buddies and do this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you don't really need it, although it comes in handy, right?
It's nice to have.
So yeah, because you can't take it with you.
No.
You know?
So I think to make it your whole world is silly.
No, yeah.
I mean, that's up to you if you want to.
If you want, yeah. I don't think you're that kind of guy, though.
No, man. I just I've always seen it as a tool, and for the longest time I didn't want it. You know, I kind of demonized it. And now I'm like, no, it's necessary. And if I have a lot of money, there's a lot of good I could do with it. So I'd love to have money, like bless my family, but bless people I don't even know. Just bless. Like I don't need to hoard money.
Right.
Like I think money is meant to flow.
For sure.
Just like human beings, we're meant to flow.
Absolutely.
And so it's just like release it. Pour it into good things.
When you moved out here, did that like, I don't know, did some stress kind of dawn on you at some point? Were you ever like kind of a point where like, well, I'm kind of out of my league?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So many times I was like, what the fuck am I doing? You know, this seems crazy. Like, cause the industry, you kind of take bites and you start to realize the great scope of it all. And you're like, dude, I have to be out of my mind to be
I think that every day. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Cause like,
yeah.
There's so many career paths that are just laid out for you.
Of course.
And there's literally job postings and listings.
Of course.
Where like as an actor, nothing is firm. Like, you could audition 1,000 times and not book anything.
And it's all on you.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, it's your fault.
And so much of it is speculative. You're like,
for sure.
Is it my look? Is it, do people just not like me? Is it just not my season? It could be 1,000 reasons. And you could drive yourself batty. But the truth is you got to stick to your guns with, is this part of me? Is this a need? Like, do I need to do this thing? Do I love this? Like, is it, even if I left LA, would this leave me? And if the answer is no, then it's like, it has to be expressed somehow. I'm not saying you got to do it for a living. I'm doing my darndest to make it happen. And I believe that I will.
Right.
And I do think people got to be honest with themselves and real, like, do you have the ability? Because there's natural talent, there's learned talents. And I don't think everybody has the natural talents. I think, like you were talking about, there's plenty of people that they like the idea of it, but is it right for them? And I'm no arbiter. I'm not going to define that for you.
Of course, yeah.
You know, I would never pretend. Like,
no, it's interesting because, again, that's defeating the ego. That's, you know, getting that out of the equation, you know, because so many people would just do it because they want to be heard.
Yeah.
And I keep on coming back to that, you know, that thing where it's just like, okay, you got to get out of that mindset. You know?
Yeah.
Because I'm not doing this to be heard. I'm doing this for you guys. I'm actually doing this to celebrate people who, you know, are best kept secrets in this fucking town, you know, but also who need a platform for themselves, you know, because I mean, really, like, what the fuck are we doing? If we're not, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, if we're, you know, if this is my focus, that's fine. Like, I'm content with that. You know, I'm totally content with that. But like, yeah, some people are just very selfish when it comes to, you know, their image, you know.
Vanity is a thing.
It's a bitch and a half, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this town,
it's
kind of a staple.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a healthy way to explore it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
There always is.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, there's nothing wrong with looking nice and like
not
wearing good clothing.
Of course not. No, you have to keep up with a certain presentation.
100%.
But like, you don't have to make that be the gauntlet of how you run your life.
Yes.
You know, and I think that's what we're trying to.
I think there's a temptation.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And really it's a pressure. It's like you feel like you need to be this and you need to look this way or I'm going to be rejected. I won't be enough. And again, underlying things to deal with within yourself. But it is a temptation. And I felt it strongly coming here. I was like, am I enough?
Right.
Like that pulverizing question, being hit with it all the time because everybody's beautiful. My God. And it's nice every so often to leave this town because then you realize, oh, this is not average. Right. And this is a concentration of all these people that are gunning for these jobs that are trying to look like the most refined human being possible to land these gigs so they can make a living. And I don't fault them for that. And it's like there's a lot of competition. But everybody belongs. Like your look, whatever that is, there's a role for it. I really believe that.
It's a matter of being patient, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
We're making it.
Right.
Make content. And it doesn't have to be the biggest thing on the planet. That's okay. Like if you have a story inside of you that needs to get out, like write it or have someone that loves to write it for you.
Ideally, it's like putting out consistent work.
Yeah.
You know?
And things that matter.
And now it's like the irony is like you have no excuse. Because it's everything's on a fucking phone. or an easy to reach camera, or you know what I mean. Like the tools are all there for you,
and you can make something superb on a micro budget.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah,
right.
I've seen it. Yeah, plenty of times I've seen it. You know, but yeah, dude. No, much love, man. This is you know, how you feeling?
Good.
Yeah,
feeling great.
Cool, man. Do you have any pluggables? Anything you want to plug away, or you know, personal Instagram, website, things like that? You know.
So for the Champ, I don't know.
Coming
yet.
out in festivals, so we don't know yet.
So I can't.
Maybe by the time this comes out, we'll have a few.
Maybe a few dates. That we can, like,
just keep me posted because
release.
I'll plan to release this around then. At the moment, you know, we're recording this. It's, you know, it's still March. So, but, you know, we got, none of this is aged content or anything like that. You know, none of this is time sensitive. So, but yes, the Champ is coming soon. You know, if it's not out already. But, you know, any, like, your social media pages or anything like that?
Sure. People can follow just TDawg, TDAWG_slim. It's kind of a ridiculous name. I made it in defiance. This was like back in the day.
I was wondering where this came from.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I tag him? Oh, T-Dog. Okay. It's like, all right, let's do it.
I just
Sure.
haven't changed it. People, it's
What's
funny
the
because
story
people
there?
like love
Yeah.
it. So I worked. This is my other life. I worked in a church, and the pastor wanted me to have an Instagram presence. And at the time, I thought it was ridiculous. I was like, I already got a Facebook and a MySpace. I need something else. And he forced me to make one. So I just was like,
MySpace.
I got a MySpace. Now I just miss MySpace. I'm like, oh man, those are simpler times.
Yeah, it was more, I don't know, it felt more personable.
Yeah.
It felt like, you know.
You learned HTML coding.
Yeah, like there wasn't much of a pressure system that exists when Facebook kind of blew the fuck up. And,
right.
You know, and I feel like that was when it became more serious, you know.
You just hope to get in people's top 5 or whatever that was, top 10 friends. You're like, I'm gunning.
Dude, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Oh my god.
And then you get to choose a song on your page.
Kids these
that
days
was
will
important.
Never understand. Yes, it was. Oh my god.
Like, it's got to be fresh. It's got to be new.
Yeah, My Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. AFI. Yes, no, for real.
I think I had
People don't
like Fall Out
understand.
Boy for a little bit, and then maybe Thursday, which I got on right now.
Yeah. Shout out to emo bands.
That's right, man.
Hell yeah.
It's my heart and soul.
Very cool. But yeah, T-Dawg Slim. But yeah, dude, Terence, no, it was a pleasure, man. You know, it was a pleasure actually, like, you know, getting to know you a little bit better and talking with you. And thank you for being on this episode. You know,
thanks for having me, man.
Fam. Yeah, this is what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
Just, you know, and like, you know, yeah, there's a million podcasts that are literally just set up the same exact way, who talk about the same exact shit. But the biggest difference is nobody here is famous yet.
That's right.
One of these days, I'm curious to take on bets on who's gonna break that barrier.
Ooh.
But we'll see what happens, because
that.
that's not the goal here, right? We're not trying to. We're just trying to do this shit for the rest of our lives. You know? So, but yeah, great talking with you, man. And,
Same here,
thanks
man.
For coming on.
Thanks for what you're doing here. I think it's really important, and it's hopeful. You know, you're spreading hope. You're spreading.
Thanks, man. No, I appreciate that. Yeah,
I was gonna say spreading the cheeks of the industry. You know, the dirty,
that's what we do.
The dirty underbelly of everything that's the real world.
That's what we do. You know, I mean, yeah, it's. I did an episode where I talked only about my experience working on One Tree Hill, and
you were a PI on it.
A PA, yeah.
Oh, PA. Okay.
I that was the most